And then we get to the fourth and final stage of the race. The cock crows the second time, reference back to the denial of Christ. The crowds are cheering them, and then we see this reference to comrades. Now, back in the race where the roadblock took place, these same guys made reference to communism. I skipped that, but there is this mention of Marx and of comrades helping them to get rid of this roadblock. A market with a bear trend is going downwards. So the downward trend of the world's economy is about to pass them when Asterix hops out, picks up his old chariot with his horses, and makes and regains a comfortable lead. It says here, after about 100 leagues. Now, I've thought about these 100 leagues. It could refer to days, because if you remember, the Auriga was this constellation that is visible late Feb, early March. So if you take it from, say, the 1st of March, and you count 100 days, it goes to close to the middle of June. And remember what we said about Croesus lupus. They hit this signpost and then they're basically out of the race, and coronavirus is back again. And then Croesus lupus comes along. Lupus is this constellation only visible in June. So I'm not sure if this is referring to 100 days or not, but I'm definitely looking at it, waiting to see how things will pan out. So he's looking back, still celebrating the victory over coronavirus because of this severe lockdown they had, and now they're in stage 4. He loses focus and he hits a signpost out of the race, and all of a sudden coronavirus is back. But the Lupus constellation, visible in June, makes his appearance with the much needed help. He makes them an offer, and in exchange for his help, they now put their faces on his billboards. That's how we know that this sponsor is behind the coronavirus character, because the face of the coronavirus character was on the billboard earlier in the race. And now they can see coronavirus again. The crowd start cheering his name again. And this gentleman over here makes a very interesting comment. He says, "I might have guessed it. It was a tactical withdrawal." So further allusion to the conspiracy that is behind this whole pandemic. This disappearance of coronavirus and this reappearance of coronavirus is all part of the bigger plan. This eruption stops Asterix and Obelix, and he makes this interesting comment. He says, all these holdups are getting ridiculous. Remember, Asterix and Obelix know about the Romans fixing this race, so he is saying this in light of that. When I initially saw this, I thought it was just a reference to the climate change discussion they had with the guy in the canoe, but I decided to have a look on Google. I found this interesting story on the National Geographic website. It talks of a woman and a man that were found near Mount Vesuvius. And it says the man and the woman were not doomed refugees of the famous AD 79 eruption. Rather, they were Bronze Age inhabitants of one of the dozens of prehistoric villages that dotted this beautiful fertile plain during an earlier, and it turns out more violent, eruption of Vesuvius. The Avellino eruption occurred approximately 3,780 years ago, and researchers now argue that it represents the nightmare blueprint for a future calamity that could envelop Naples itself. Now, why am I looking at this article specifically? It's because it says here, it is worth noting that Obelix's intervention afforded the Vesuvius region a reasonably long period of respite until AD 79. So this eruption is not AD 79. It is, like our article says here, it's the Avellino eruption that occurred way before AD 79. If Mount Vesuvius then does erupt when coronavirus comes back the second time, this might indicate that it was man-made. And then we get to the finish line where coronavirus is taken out by a pothole, reference back to Bifidus not doing his work properly. If you found this interesting, please like and share this video. The algorithm is not going to do me any favors with sharing this kind of information.